Hello students, how are you? My name is Dr. Jyoti Singh and today I am going to discuss with you the work of two prominent scientists, that is James Watson and Francis Crick. And in this video we are going to acknowledge the contribution of these two scientists into the biology and especially in the DNA science. Okay, so these two scientists are popular or they have got the Nobel Prize for their discovery of structure of DNA. Okay, so DNA is what? DNA is our genetic material and this is the blueprint through which generation after generation the characters got transferred. Okay, so DNA stands for deoxy. Okay, deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, this is the full form of DNA. This is DNA, this deoxyribonucleic acid. Fine, and they have reduced the structure of this deoxyribonucleic acid as a double helical structure. Like DNA, as all of you must be knowing that DNA is having a double helical structure like this. Okay, and this structure was discovered by these two scientists. So how they reached to this point of discovering the structure of DNA? So let's start this by reading their biography and how they have discovered the structure of DNA. So basically we are going to study James Davy Watson, who was born in Chicago on 6 April 1928, and in 1947 he received BSc degree in geology. So what is geology? Geology is a science of studying animals. In this, basically geology is a science of studying animals. Like we have botany. In botany we study the plant sciences, while in the geology we study the animal sciences, and it also has variety of subtopics also, but it includes animal only. Okay, and then during these years his interest in bird watching, he was very fond of watching birds. Okay, so like at that time evolutionary relationship, genetics, all were very prominent subjects of science and or very prominent subjects of current research. So he was very fond of bird watching and he got interest developed into genetics. Okay, then how the characters got transferred from one generation to another, like this. Okay, then had matured into a serious desire to learn genetics. He want to learn genetics, how the characters got transferred from one generation to other, what are the factors which determine this process. Okay, all of this. This became possible when he received a fellowship for graduate study in geology at Indiana University, Bloomington, where he received his PhD degree in 1950. So in 1950 he got his PhD degree, means doctoral degree. So he got a topic and he had done a lot of research on that particular topic, and after doing that he got a degree in PhD, doctoral degree. Okay, by research degree, that is a PhD degree. And on studying his topic was the study of the effect of hard X-rays on bacteriophage multiplication. So what is this bacteriophage? It is basically a virus. Bacteriophage is a virus which infect bacteria. Okay, so there are a lot of viruses which infect plants, which infect animals, and there are viruses which infect bacteria also, and we call that virus as bacteriophage virus. And what James Watson has done, he has studied the effect of these X-rays on this bacteriophage multiplication. Fine. Now he met his friend Crick and discovered their common interest in solving the DNA structure. At that time, DNA has been discovered. Okay, it was not like James Watson and Francis Crick has discovered the DNA. No, they haven't discovered the DNA. Just they elucidated the structure of the DNA. Nobody was knowing. Yes, DNA was there present. Okay, it was confirmed by the chemical analysis, but nobody was sure about what kind of structure, what kind of three-dimensional structure the DNA has. So through their experiments, through their repeated experiments, several times their experiments got failed. They would not be able to discover the correct structure because something which was theoretically possible was not showing the results when they were performing the practicals. And likewise these they have got several times failed. But once they learned from their failures and they overcome all the problems, and finally they were able to reduce the structure of DNA. And what they have found that DNA is a double helical structure. Okay, then he met Crick and discovered their common interest in solving the DNA structure. Their first serious attempt was unsatisfactory. What I have told you all earlier, that yes, there were failure also. It was not like they have just started an experiment, they got succeeded. So research need very patience, and it needs very hard work also to do the repeatedly the same thing again and again via different methods, so that we can get our results. And also we have to study several things theoretically and also plan our experiments accordingly. And if our experiments got failed, which we have calculated as per the theory, didn't match with the practical experimental data, then we have to repeat that experiment, and it needs a lot of hard work, lot of patience. Okay, then their second effort, based upon more experimental evidence and better appreciation of the nucleic acid literature, they studied again those data, and again they performed their experiments, and they got succeeded at this time, resulted in March 1953. So during March 1953, they discovered the double helical model of DNA in the proposal of the complementary double helical configuration. So in their proposal, they showed that DNA is a double helical structure. While we have seen the Watson's history, now let's take a look at the Crick's life journey. Okay, so Francis Harry Crompton Crick was born on 8 June 1916 at Northampton, England. He studied physics, so he was a physicist. You know, you see, so what you can elucidate from this data? One was geologist and the another was physicist. So science is not like that we are studying something and will have to devote our whole life studying that only. So science is a subject of interdisciplinary study. It's not like that we are geologists or we are physicists, so we have to see the problems of physics only, or we have to see the problems of geology only. Sometimes our knowledge, our experimental efficiency do help other areas of science also. So this is the perfect example of that. So London, and so he studied at University College of London and obtained BSc in 1937. He completed PhD in 1954 on a thesis entitled X-ray diffraction, polypeptides and proteins. So he was also an expert of X-ray diffractions, and he had already studied the polypeptides. Polypeptides means ki the protein molecules. Okay, polypeptides and proteins. Polypeptides make proteins. Okay, then a critical influence in Crick's career was his friendship with J.D. Watson, because Crick was a physicist and J.D. Watson was a geologist. So this is the best combination. Was expert of the X-ray, and the another was the expert of this polypeptides, nucleic acid, because he was geologist. Then a young man at 23, leading in 1953 to the proposal of the double helical structure of DNA. At that time, the structure of DNA, many of the world scientists were working on the structure of the DNA because it was the burning hot topic of that time. So this group also decided to study the structure of the DNA. Okay, then they have also studied during our research or during our experimental planning. We also see our fellows work also, our fellows reporting also, because if we go only by our work only, then there are many less chances of succeeding in our experiments. So they have gone through all the research work present at that time, and after going through all these, they have planned their experiment and they got succeeded. Crick was made an FRS in 1959. FRS stands for Fellow of Royal Society. Okay, so this was a very prestigious society, and being a fellow is a honor. Then the honors of Watson with Crick include John Colling Warren Prize of the Massachusetts General Hospital in 1959, the Lasker Award in 1960, the Research Corporation Prize in 1962, and above all the Nobel Prize in 1962. They worked the DNA structure in 1953, but they got the Nobel Prize in 1962. So one more important thing about James Watson and Francis Crick was that they got the Nobel Prize, but they elucidated the double helical structure of DNA by seeing a X-ray diffraction a graph or a image by produced by Rosalind Franklin. Rosalind Franklin was a women scientist, and she died at an early age of 37, and she was also an expert of X-ray diffraction, and through X-ray diffraction she has got an image of the DNA molecule, and seeing those X-ray diffraction images, Francis and Crick, apart from all their experiments and theoretical knowledge, that that photograph of X-ray diffraction image of the DNA helped them very much, and through that photograph the breakthrough discovery of this double helical DNA structure was thought to be made. So I hope that this knowledge was very informative for all of you. Thank you so much.